The Young Green Consumer Guide, which you've been writing, is very interesting. I had a look through it, and it actually tells you all about, regarding schools and even homes, how you can do an audit about how green you actually are.
Particularly for younger people, but actually it works right across the board, that if you actually get people involved in finding out about the impact of what they're doing either at home or at school or even at work, and how that affects the environment, it's much easier for people to see what they can do about it. And so in the Young Green Consumer Guide, we've got a whole section which is how to carry out an environmental audit of your school. And we've got the children to look at things like catering and the school grounds and what happens in their classrooms.
It's very interesting. So there is actually something all of us can do. Julia Hales, thank you very much for joining us.
Well, with me now is Julia Hales, co-author of this book, The Young Green Consumer Guide, which is full of ideas and information all about green issues. Good morning, Julia. It's good to have you on the show. Thanks very much for coming in. Well, what sort of age do you think we should be encouraging our children to be green?
Our book is actually aimed at an audience from about 8 to 13, but I think you can start being green a lot earlier than that. It's just a question of how much you can do at what stage. But one of the key things that children can do is actually asking questions about the things that they see and the things that they're not sure about in terms of what's happening with the environment. And that's very effective in getting adults to actually act, because of course they're much more concerned about questions coming from children than from anyone else.
So what sort of things are you saying then that children should be able to do to be green?
We've looked around all the things that you might come across in your house, and actually we've done a green quiz on sort of how green your home is. So you can go around and investigate and see what you could be doing and score marks out of 20 and how well you've done. The key thing is to be aware and to ask questions. You're in a very good position to be encouraging recycling, for example, using recycled products like recycled paper in your schools and checking out where your pencils are coming from, not using disposable pens, using calculators that actually have a solar powered rather than battery powered. There's endless sort of ideas of things that children can do and can have effect about.
There's all sorts of little snippets of information that you might have aimed at 8 to 13-year-olds, but I found them fascinating. For instance, the Chinese throw away 6 million chopsticks a day.
It's very important to give sort of good sort of statistics on this, because it does make it that much more sort of understandable, and then relating it to something like chopstick is just bringing home some of the effects of just things that we tend to accept.
Level then of importance as far as parents and schools are concerned in encouraging their children to grow up green. How does the responsibility lie, do you think, between the two?
It's very important that children should be aware of some of the problems with the environment, but also that it doesn't have easy solutions. I think it would be quite dangerous to assume that just by pressing a green button everything's going to be all right. It's quite crucial that they should become involved in working out what the problem is and how to sort it out, and seeing some of the areas, which is why the school audit is so important, because it actually brings in realistic factors like, can the school really afford to make some of the changes that may be suggested? And also show some of the ways the school may be saving money. For example, one school that we got to do the audit found that they could be saving £5,000 a year by not having the heating on at night. And that was something that one of the pupils found out. And of course they were very excited by that and realised that it really was something they could do.
It can be done. Great, Julia. And one of the best things is you've made it fun as well. So great. Thanks for coming on to talk about it this morning.
Thanks.